Hello and welcome to another episode of the Slash Raptor Show. I am Slash Raptor, and today is January 5th, 2024. This is the first video that I'm actually filming in 2024, and not just an episode from different years that is just being edited and uploaded this year. So I'm on my way to go get a haircut, and I figured that since I'm already going to be close to the downtown area, that after that I might as well walk over to the theater and go see Aquaman, the Hidden Kingdom. Is that what it is? Is it the Lost Kingdom? I don't know. I don't remember what it is. I've just been calling it Aquaman 2. But we're gonna go see that movie. This winter has been crazy. Well, technically it's the winter of 2023 as well, but you know what I mean. So like earlier this morning, it was like minus 11 Celsius, which is decently nippy. Usually by now, it's like in the minus 20s, so that's nothing. But it's pretty cold for this particular winter, and there's finally snow on the ground. But the sun is so bright that it's probably gonna melt very, very fast. It was basically a green Christmas, which we almost never have in Canada. So I brought my winter jacket, and I'm wearing my shoe boot combo that I call shaboots, and I ended up not needing them because there's enough snow here that I have traction. So this new place, this is the third place that I've had where I was living without anyone else. Well, technically in the bedroom I was renting first, I was living with other people, but they weren't my roommates. They just also were renting rooms in the same house as me. But this is one of the easiest ways. This place has one of the best locations for LRT access, because it's like a 5-minute walk from my place to the McEwen station, which is up that way. And if I go that way, it's about a 10 to 15 minute walk to Kingsway. So when I go to Walmart, which is that way, attached to Kingsway Mall, I actually have to walk away from it to get to the LRT, and then it'll take me all the way there. It's the fastest way of doing it. I've checked. It's just kind of silly. Yeah, I left anticipating that this would all be like icy or slick, but no, it's just regular sidewalk. Could have worn my windbreaker, and could have worn my regular shoes, but what are you gonna do? I'm already more than halfway to where I'm going, so there's no point going backwards. All right, so done with the haircut, and that was actually a pretty good time. So movie starts, actually the trailers start in exactly an hour. So I've got plenty of time to walk over to the theater. If I have time, there is supposed to be a board game store that's opened up in there that I never knew about, that I would like to check out, but that depends if I can find it and how long it takes me to get to the mall.
Small in terms of
but yeah, because the mall is kind of like that way. It's kind of like that way and that way. So it's kind of like on the other half of Jasper from this side. But if I just keep going straight, then I'll get to Jasper. This is 107 Street, pretty sure. This one. Because the way that I'm going now is the way that I usually walk to here, but that was often from my old place because I had to take the bus. But with this one, I kind of just walk straight here because I just got to go past the McEwen LRT. So see, now the sun isn't out anymore, and now it's a little slippery, but this is still stuff that I could have done in my regular runners. I don't really put on boots anymore because it's just never really seems necessary unless it's like a giant blizzard or there's like a foot of snow. Now, if I really wanted to, I could catch a 2 bus that's going to West Edmonton Mall, because there's more varied show times there. Because for some reason, on a Friday night, the theater we're going to only has 2 showings within this entire day. The 441 that we're heading to now, and then another one at 7:30. And to do that, we would have to and to get to that one, we would have to go into the hotel because the actual mall doors are closed or locked by then. But we're doing pretty good on time, so I should get there at around 4 o'clock on the nose. So that gives us plenty of time. I could just use the Wi-Fi in the mall and browse on my phone while I wait. So yeah, so now that we're on Jasper, I can show you some more familiarity things that I like doing, just to show you like where I came from and where we are now. For example, this is 105 Street, and this is where my new apartment is. But it's all the way up there, and then it's a dead end. Because you can't go up the front street because you can't go up the front street because that's where the LRT tracks run, and then they continue on to Kingsway, and eventually Nate where they end. But if you were to walk in a straight line from here, you'd hit my place. Because the McEwen LRT that I kind of started this video at is also in that direction, and then Shade, the Gentleman's Club, is also over here. Hello, ladies. And just over here, we have Wayback Burger. See? Wayback. The one that started them all. I'll tell you what, I'm glad I did bring my winter jacket, because now that the sun's down, it's actually pretty nippy. I've got gloves and I've got my toque, so it's not a big deal. But I don't think if I had just brought only my windbreaker that it would have been as good. Because that windbreaker is really not meant for like minus weather. You can do like maybe -2 at the most, and then anything else I should really be wearing this jacket. But it's not zipped up because it's not that bad. It's just because the sun isn't out. So now my fingertips are starting to feel cold, but the mall is just up there, so there's not even a point to put on my gloves because I'll have to take them off immediately. Okay, I didn't even notice that it's a 3D show. Blech. Such a gimmick. So that's probably why my tickets were a little more expensive. $5 extra for something that I would not even pay for. The only reason I have to see it in 3D is because the only other showing is in 3 hours, and we're not doing that. So I will have to suffer through this, because I have to put the 3D glasses on top of my regular glasses or I can't see anything. So that's not gonna work. Such a lame thing though. Oh, we're in Theater 8 this time. I don't think we've been in Theater 8. We've been in 9, we've been in 4 a lot, and we've been in 1. But I think that's all of the ones that I've been in.
Oh, tough kid.
Alright, so I'm in the theater and the movie starts at about 10 minutes and there is nobody else here. So, that's great. But I decided to get popcorn just because. And this drained my entire allowance because I had to pay like an extra $5 for the ticket for this stupid movie. And then the snacks are always the most expensive thing, so. But yeah, so I will do the review once I'm finished here. Alright, so I'm just realizing that I think this is the first time I've ever been to a movie late enough that it was closed by the time I got out. Because look at this. This is, actually no, this is open, but these are not. I don't think this is usually closed like this, but I also don't spend a lot of time after the movie, excluding when I do the review, which we gotta go do now. So let's go sit over here, I guess. All right, so Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. I liked it. It had a different vibe than the original Aquaman. That one was more of like an adventure because they had to go to the surface and he was learning all this stuff about Atlantis. So we were kind of seeing that world exposed to him through the main character. It had action, but it was only for like the fight scenes, and I don't remember there being like a lot of just like action scenes. But this one seemed to be more focused on action, and it also had the adventure vibe. Like it was like a road movie. It had like a SpongeBob SquarePants movie kind of thing, where it was Arthur and I think his name's Orm. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. I couldn't hear it that well. But it was that's kind of a stereotypical thing of the bad guy of the last movie teaming up with the good guy of the last movie, and then he ends up turning good. So it's like, why didn't he just be good in the first place? But I don't know, the concept of the orichalcum and like the planet overheating seems a little bit too passe. Like it's kind of old news at this point. Like everybody knows global warming's a thing, and the whole movie seemed to be like a message of saying, look, this is what's going to happen if this keeps going. But it's not going to stop because every single person in the entire world would have to stop and stay stopped for the rest of the existence to stop global warming from happening, if you even believe that it is happening. And I'm kind of on the fence. It's like, whatever. But I liked how like the secondary villain of the first movie became the main villain of this movie, but I didn't like how he got sidestepped during the end for the big evil that was behind everything, a cliche, and there was like the good guy possessed by the new villain cliche, and there was a lot of cliches. Like the writing wasn't bad. It felt very similar to the first one. Like there was just a lot of joking around, but I really like the chemistry of Orm and Arthur. And I kind of knew from the beginning when we had Arthur and the clone leader and the inject, and I kind of knew from the beginning when we saw Arthur and Jango Fett talking about how he managed to raise Arthur as a single dad, and he told him that you just keep going and you take the small victories and you overcome the losses, and that whole thing. To me, it just screamed that they're gonna kill the dad, and they almost did, which I kind of wish they went through with, because what was the point of putting his life in danger if he was immediately healed? Like, we saw him get stabbed, and Black Manta wanted Aquaman to watch him die, but then like it cuts, and then all of a sudden he's healed and he's gonna be just fine because it's like Atlantean healing. So like, what was the point of that? The 3D added almost nothing, but this was one of the better 3D performances in terms of how it actually worked. Like when I went, like every time I'm forced to see a 3D movie, I always like, ugh. Like I started watching it without the glasses on at first because it wasn't really distorting the image without them that much. But then as it got like after about 20 minutes, then it started to. So I'm like, all right, I guess I got to put the glasses on. So that was that, and it like again, 3D hasn't been interesting since like the first surge of it, like in the 2000s with movies like Spy Kids 3D. That is 3D, where the things are actually reaching out and coming out at the screen to you. That is the best 3D ever was. And since this new resurgence, they've never made a movie like that. And the 3D just hasn't been that. It just makes the image look floaty and kind of distorted. So I really don't understand why it was $5 extra for a ticket to the same movie. Like, I would not have paid that much money if I had any other options. Thinking back, I kind of wish I had gotten on that bus and gone to Wested, but I didn't know, but I didn't realize that, but I forgot that 3D tickets are more than the regular tickets because I purposefully go out of my way to not see them if I have to because it doesn't add anything whatsoever. But this one, it was okay. Like the 3D actually, it was actually better than the last time I remember being forced to see something in 3D, which I'm pretty sure was the Avengers when I saw that with Zombard like 12 years ago. So, yeah, but it was good. The fight scenes were kind of hit or miss, and the ending I thought was very anticlimactic, but they almost made it seem like it wasn't going to be because after like Black Manta stops being possessed by whatever the king of the of Necrus was. I forget what his name was. Croxus or something. I don't know. But after he stops possessing Black Manta, then Orin picks up the trident, and then he becomes possessed, and then Arthur talks to him and snaps him out of it, and then it's too late because they end up awakening the evil king that's been like looming in the distance this whole time. So then he comes to life, and then Arthur turns around and throws his own trident at him, and it's like, is it really going to be that easy? Is that it? And then he catches it, and it's like, oh nope, I guess not. And then he turns around and throws his own trident at him again, and then it goes through the evil trident and destroys it, and then kills him in one shot, and then there's a big explosion. So like it was all leading up to this, and that's all we got. It was over in like 30 seconds. And the fight with Manta Ray before that wasn't like with Black Manta or whatever his name is. It wasn't that epic. I think the better fight was actually like before they came to the Hidden Kingdom when they were in like that Orichalcum refinery. That I thought was a better fight, and I think they should have extended that one and also like tripled the length of the other one, and then made it so that they never actually woke up the king, so that Black Manta was actually the villain all along. I think that would have been better. And I was kind of disappointed on how little Amber Turd was actually in the movie. Like everybody calls her Amber Turd now, so it's like she's got like a bad reputation. But she was in a lot of the first movie, and she kind of got sidelined and just turned into like a secondary character. Like I don't think she even had like a total of 25 minutes of screen time in a 2-hour movie. So there was a lot less of her. It almost seemed like they brought her back just because they could, but they didn't really use her character. So I don't know why they even bothered to mention that yes, she is back. Yeah, the prison break I think was probably my favorite part of the whole movie, especially when there's a part after it where they get on these weird worm things with like drill like teeth. Or it's kind of like it almost looked like the Demogorgon from Stranger Things season 1, but it had like teeth that were like in a circle, and it would like spin around really fast, and it would drill through things. But they get on them, and Orm's like, "Do you know how to ride one of these?" And Arthur goes, "No, I don't even know what the hell this thing is." But then they were riding it through like this dune and being chased by a bunch of stuff, and that had some serious Indiana Jones vibes. Yeah, there was a lot more robotics and stuff in this one too, and just a lot of characters that didn't really have names. Like there was this one Asian lady that was part of the crew that was working with Black Manta, and she was like a kind of like a constant threat. But I don't think they ever said her name out loud, and she kind of just came out of nowhere because there was no introduction for her. But then I kind of saw it coming from the end where Manta Ray wouldn't take his hand because he's really just that petty. His father was a horrible man, and Arthur was saving a lot of people, and he only cares that he's dead because he was his father, and he doesn't understand at all that the world is a better place without him in it. So he was really just that petty that he would rather die than let Aquaman save him. But my favorite part was after he lost his trident, he became too weak after he lost that evil trident. He became too weak for it to be a fair fight between him and Aquaman. So he comes after him after he loses the mask, and Aquaman just knocks him away with just one punch. That was pretty funny. And I also liked the just the banter between Arthur and Orem when they were on that weird island, like talking about things that he hasn't done because he's never been to the surface, and talking about pizza, and they just had like a lot of like witty stuff that went back and forth, and I like that part a lot too. I haven't actually seen Aquaman 1 since the first time I saw it, and that was a couple of months ago, so I'm not entirely sure that I like this better than that one. I would say yes, but that's only because I just saw it. But overall, I think I can give this one a 7 out of 10. And I don't remember, I would have to watch the first one again to see how it compared. But there was a lot more Amber Turd, and her suit was very skin tight in that first movie, and there was a lot more of her, and that was kind of one of the reasons why I saw it at first, because I didn't really care about the character of Aquaman, and then I ended up actually kind of liking the movie, so then I just finished it. But this time I kind of wanted to see it because I liked the first one. So, yeah, I think a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10 is fair. Alright, so that is all the time I have for this episode of the Slash Raptor Show. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you right back here in the very near future for more cool stuff. Bye-bye. Oh yes, and I forgot to mention, there were quite a few trailers for movies that looked pretty good. I'm still kind of salty that there's only going to be that one MCU movie this year when there were supposed to be 3. That might change if the strike ends, because I feel like they're already finished, and it would probably just be post-production now. But so far, they canceled the 2 movies that were going to be in this one, and that's kind of going to throw off like the system of. It's going to throw off the whole system of the setup that they had for Phase 5 and Phase 6, because Phase 6 was supposed to start next year, and now the second half of Phase 5 is going to be next year, so it's going to push this whole thing back. And it just came out of nowhere because. The writer's strike, the writers already went on strike once in 2008, and that was such a long thing. And then it finally ended, and then all the TV shows that it ruined came back, or that it affected rather. But anyway, so yeah, I saw a movie called Civil War. That looks interesting. I think it's like a modern day civil war of America against America, so that looked kind of interesting. Madam Web, I saw another trailer for that. That looks kind of interesting. I did not recognize Dakota Johnson at all, and I'm kind of afraid of anything that she's in because of, those series of movies that I have never seen and will never see. Because they're awful, and it's just not necessary. Why do you need to make a movie out of this thing that's not cinema safe? It's the whole thing is about sex and bondage, so you have to tone down the whole point of the book. So yeah, I don't know about that. I might see that one, and I kind of want to see Beekeeper, just because it looks stupid. But I do like Jason Statham. He is kind of like an eternal badass.